So think back to when you were a kid, like really young, and someone asked you that classic question, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Oh, yeah. The classic.
Right. And for decades, the ultimate, like, shoot for the stars dream in America was literally that, an astronaut.
Yeah, putting on the spacesuit.
Exactly. But I'm looking at this mind-bending statistic from Signal Fire right now, and the paradigm has it's completely flipped. Today, 29% of American kids want to be a YouTube star when they grow up.
29%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Compared to just 11% who still want to be astronauts.
It's a staggering cultural pivot, right? We're
Yeah.
essentially watching an entire generation prioritize digital influence over physical exploration, which actually perfectly sets the stage for the stack of research we're unpacking today.
It really does. So welcome to today's deep dive. We are sorting through a massive stack of sources for you today. We've got market maps from Signal Fire. There's data from AdPushUp and SAUK.
Lots of data.
So much data. Plus, industry insights from Marketing Brew and WaveUp. And we're even looking at some Web3 payout guides from Rise.
It's a heavy stack.
It is. But the mission for this deep dive is to basically shortcut your understanding of the creator economy. We really want to move way past the surface level hype, the viral dances and the ring lights.
Right, getting past the aesthetics.
Exactly. We want to uncover how this massive ecosystem actually functions as a rapidly evolving business, a tech incubator, and, frankly, really complex financial sector.
Yeah, and to give you a sense of the sheer scale here,
Yeah.
according to the EdPushUp data, the creator economy is now this platform-driven ecosystem made up of over 207 million content creators globally.
207 million.
Yeah. I mean, that is a workforce roughly the size of the entire population of Brazil. And they're all operating independently across these digital networks.
Okay, let's just unpack that because the best way I can think to visualize what's happening right now is to compare it to the 1849 gold rush.
Oh, that's a good analogy.
Right, because from the outside, looking at the flashy cars and the millions of views, it looks like there's just this unlimited wealth waiting to be scooped up out of the digital river.
Just lying there.
Exactly. But today's deep dive is really about figuring out who is actually finding that gold and who is quietly getting rich, just, selling the digital shovels to everyone else.
Well, and the modern digital prospector has a surprisingly low survival rate once you actually dig into the mechanics of how these platforms operate.
Yeah.
The illusion of glamour, it fades very quickly into some incredibly harsh, highly skewed numbers.
The grind is intensely real. Like looking at the AdPushUp source, it highlights that 70% of creators are spending 10 or more hours a week just on content creation.
10 hours. That's a solid part-time job.
A part-time job every single week. And how long does it take to see a return on that time? The data says it takes an average of 6 to 6.5 months to earn their very first dollar.
Yeah, that's brutal.
It is. You're working half a year of unpaid, highly technical labor. I mean, filming, editing, community managing, all before you see a single cent.
And, if you stick it out past that 6-month desert, the Wikipedia data outlines this structural reality that I think most people ignore.
Yeah.
As few as 0.1% of creators are actually able to make a living doing this.
0.1%. Wow.
Yeah, because the platforms are designed to reap the vast majority of the revenue. YouTube is a prime example here. They take a 45% cut of ad revenue for standard videos.
So you do 100% of the creative labor.
Right. And the platform essentially taxes you at nearly half your income just for the privilege of hosting it.
Almost half. And here's where it gets really interesting, because if you're a human creator, it's not just other humans you're competing against for that tiny slice of the pie anymore.
No, not at all.
The sources introduced the strangest new competition in this space, AI creators.
Oh, yeah. The virtual influencers.
Exactly. We're talking about highly lucrative virtual personas. Like, have you seen Lil Miquela?
I have, yeah. It's wild.
For those who haven't, this is a completely artificially generated persona with 2 million Instagram followers. And she literally collaborates on high-end campaigns with Prada and Calvin Klein.
Prada for a computer rendering.
Right. Or there's Kizuna AI, which is a virtual YouTuber out of Japan with over 3 million subscribers.
And those virtual personas, they represent a massive threat to traditional creators because of the underlying business mechanics.
How so?
Well, an AI creator doesn't sleep. It doesn't get burnt out. It doesn't get involved in PR scandals.
Oh, that's a huge point for brands.
Right. And most importantly for the agencies that run them, an AI doesn't suddenly demand a higher revenue split once it gets famous.
Yeah.
It's pure, scalable, infinitely controllable intellectual property.
Okay, I have to push back on this whole ecosystem then.
For it.
Because if you're listening to this and you hear about a 0.1% success rate and these massive platform extractions, and now literal AI robots stealing the high-end Prada deals,
Yeah.
is the creator economy just a giant gig economy scam? Like, are we just tricking an entire generation into funneling free labor and user data into tech monopolies, all wrapped up in the false promise of a ring light?
Look, that skepticism is entirely justified.
Right.
If you only look at the legacy system, that 0.1% at the top and the platforms acting as like feudal lords, it absolutely looks like an exploitative gig economy loop.
Yeah, exactly.
But the data shows us a really fascinating counter movement. A new middle class of creators is fighting back.
Okay, fighting back how?
They've realized that relying purely on platform ad splits and, algorithmic goodwill is a losing game. So they're actively changing the underlying business models to survive.
I mean, if the platform tax is 45%, the only logical move is to stop playing the platform's game.
Exactly.
I'm guessing this means they aren't just trying to go viral anymore. If they're adapting, what does that new business model actually look like?
So they're transforming from content makers into independent software and product founders. And to grasp how this works, we need to look at the terminology distinction made in the marketing brew source.
Okay, what's the distinction?
They draw a hard line between an influencer and a creator.
Oh, interesting. I always use those interchangeably.
Most people do.
Yep.
But an influencer is someone whose primary goal is to move opinions, follow trends, and be this broad tastemaker, usually just to sell third-party sponsorships.
Okay. And a creator.
A creator puts the actual craft and the deep connection with a specific niche audience first.
Got it. So if the influencer is trying to shape like mass culture for a brand deal, the creator is trying to build a dedicated, hyper-focused community around a specific skill or problem.
Precisely. Which leads us to the concept of the indie hacker.
Oh, that's from the Wave Up source, right?
Yes, exactly. An indie hacker is someone who builds and sells digital products completely independently. The structural difference here is that they generate revenue directly from their own customers, rather than waiting for a fraction of a penny from an ad split that's determined by some black box algorithm.
But what does an indie hacker actually build in the real world? Like, the sources mention micro-SaaS tools, paid newsletters, Notion templates, and data products. Let's break that down.
Sure. Yeah.
Because when we say micro-SaaS, which is software as a service, imagine you're a creator who makes content about personal finance.
Okay, tracking budgets and stuff.
Right. Instead of just making a YouTube video about how to budget and hoping for some ad revenue, you build a lightweight subscription-based app that categorizes expenses for freelancers.
Oh, that's smart.
Or, even simpler, you build a highly customized digital budgeting template in a program like Notion, and you sell it for $20.
And the beauty of that Notion template is the profit margin.
It's basically 100%, right?
Exactly. It costs you nothing to duplicate a digital file. Every sale after that first one is practically pure profit.
That's incredible.
The sources highlight incredibly successful pioneers of this direct-to-consumer model,
Yeah.
like Sahil Lavindja, who built Gumroad.
Oh, yeah, Gumroad is massive.
Right. It's a platform specifically designed to let creators sell digital goods directly.
Mm-hmm.
Or there's Peter Levels, who built Nomadlist, which is this huge data product and community for remote workers.
So they find a specific problem and just build a tool for it.
Exactly. They solve highly specific problems for niche audiences and charge directly for the solution.
And Signalfire actually points out that this is the top trend in the industry right now. Creators are actively moving their top fans off of social networks.
Yes, reclaiming the audience.
Yeah, they're pulling them onto their own websites, their own apps, and using their own monetization tools. It actually reminds me of a musician who finally realizes that streaming platforms pay them, fractions of a micro penny per listen.
Oh, like a perfect comparison.
Right. What is the logical move? They realize they make significantly more money selling their own merchandise out of the trunk of their car in the concert parking lot than they ever will from the streaming algorithm.
Yeah, you cut out the label.
This indie hacker movement is literally the digital equivalent of parking lot merch. You completely bypass the platform middleman.
And looking at the macroeconomic picture, this shift toward direct-to-fan or D2F relationships, it's structurally much safer.
Because you control it.
Exactly. When you own your customer list, you own your business. It is vastly safer than chasing venture capital-backed hypergrowth where you lose equity.
Oh, definitely.
And it's infinitely safer than tying your mortgage payments to a platform algorithm that could, tweet its code overnight and tank your viewership by 80%.
But wait, if creators are successfully pulling their most dedicated fans off of YouTube and Instagram, retreating into these private direct-to-fan communities and bespoke apps,
Yeah.
that creates a terrifying blind spot for traditional brands.
Oh, massive one.
Right. Because if you're a chief marketing officer used to just buying billboard space or network television ads, how do you even reach a consumer base that is fragmented across millions of independent creator ecosystems?
It's a huge challenge for them.
The creator economy market is currently valued at $127 billion, and Goldman Sachs projects it to hit near $500 billion, $480 billion by 2027.
Almost $500 billion.
A corporate brand simply cannot ignore $500 billion.
They cannot ignore it, but they also can't just force their legacy advertising playbook onto it either.
Why not?
Well, the data makes the consumer's preference incredibly clear.
That-
61% of consumers trust creators far more than they trust traditional brand promotions.
Wow, 61%.
Consumers today have a highly tuned radar for corporate polish, right?
Right.
They actively reject it in favor of personalized, relatable, peer-to-peer information.
That makes total sense. There's actually a fantastic quote in the Marketing Brew Source from later CEO Scott Sutton. He offers this very blunt piece of advice to chief marketing officers trying to navigate this space.
What does he say?
He says, humble yourself.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. He explains that brands need to listen to creators because creators are the ones talking to the core audience every single day. The creator knows what thumbnail works, what language resonates, and what actually feels authentic.
Humble yourself is brilliant advice.
Yeah.
But we have to acknowledge how fundamentally difficult that is for a Fortune 500 corporation to swallow.
Oh, for sure. That is the ultimate tension here. How does a massive buttoned-up corporate brand with layers of legal review and, brand safety guidelines, how do they maintain any sense of control when they have to hand the creative reins over to an independent 19-year-old indie hacker making content from their bedroom?
The simple mechanism is a trade-off. Brands have to trade absolute control for actual authenticity.
Trade control for authenticity. Okay.
And the SAE UK source provides a statistic that really frames why this trade-off is mandatory.
Hit me with it.
There are 402 million terabytes of data generated every single day.
402 million terabytes daily.
Daily.
That isn't just an ocean of noise. It's a tsunami of digital garbage.
Right. And in a tsunami of content, a highly polished, heavily focus grouped corporate ad just sinks to the bottom.
Nobody cares.
Exactly. The only viable mechanism to cut through that sheer volume of noise is authentic niche expertise. But to reassure the nervous corporate marketers listening,
Yeah, they're probably sweating right now.
handing over the creative script does not mean flying blind financially. The infrastructure of the creator economy has really evolved. Marketers aren't just paying a creator $10,000 for the vague, abstract concept of exposure anymore.
They aren't just giving out a vanity promo code and crossing their fingers that sales go up.
Far from it. The technology now provides the intelligence to track full ROAS return on ad spend.
Okay, let's walk through how this actually functions for them.
Okay, so a brand sponsors a specific niche creator, say, someone who builds custom mechanical keyboards.
Super niche. Love it.
The brand doesn't just get a shout-out. They get back-end tracking pixels and unique digital funnels.
Right.
They can track every single dollar spent on that creator, trace it to the exact viewer who clicked the link in the video description, and follow that user's journey all the way down to the exact switches and keycaps placed into their digital shopping cart.
That is wild. It's hyper authentic on the front end for the consumer because it feels like a genuine recommendation from a peer, but it's hyper analytical and ruthlessly tracked on the back end for the brand.
This is the best of both worlds.
It is an incredibly powerful combination. But this actually brings us to a massive logistical roadblock in the sources.
The payouts.
Yes. If we have billions of dollars and soon to be $500 billion flowing from corporate brands and individual fans directly to a distributed network of 200 million independent creators scattered across every country on the globe, how do you physically move the money?
You've hit on the critical infrastructure bottleneck, the traditional financial plumbing of the internet, the legacy banking system.
Yeah.
It is quite literally breaking under the weight of this new global microtransactional economy. It requires an entirely new set of fintech solutions just to function.
And looking at the Rise source, they outline the reality of this logistical nightmare. Just imagine a brand or platform trying to issue mass weekly payouts globally to thousands of independent contractors located in 50 different countries.
It's a nightmare.
The traditional systems just punish the creators for participating. Like PayPal, for example, often charges a 5% international fee along with currency conversion surcharges.
5% is huge.
Right. And Wise, another popular platform, has been continually raising fees. It's reaching up to $35 just for some international US dollar transfers.
And when an independent creator or an indie hacker is already fighting to survive on really tight margins, losing 5 to 10% of their hard-earned revenue just to physically receive their paycheck.
It's insane.
It's economically devastating. It stifles the entire global ecosystem.
It's like embarking on a massive cross-country road trip, but having to pay a predatory currency exchange fee every single time you cross a county line.
Right.
By the time you actually reach your destination, the arbitrary border fees have entirely eaten up your gas money. You spend months building an audience, you finally land a cross-border brand deal, and you get financially penalized by legacy banks just for having a global reach.
And this specific friction point is exactly why the financial infrastructure of the creator economy is shifting heavily toward Web3 and crypto solutions, as detailed in the Rise Guide.
Okay, so how does crypto fix the toll booths?
Well, companies are moving toward hybrid fiat and crypto payroll systems. Specifically, they're utilizing stablecoins.
Stablecoins.
Yeah, for those unfamiliar, a stablecoin is a cryptocurrency designed to have a relatively stable price, typically through being pegged to a commodity or currency like the US dollar.
So it's not fluctuating wildly like Bitcoin.
Exactly. By paying a creator in a US dollar-pegged stablecoin, companies bypass those slow, expensive, traditional banking toll booths entirely. The money moves globally at the speed of the internet for fractions of a cent.
And the really fascinating mechanism driving this new infrastructure is the use of smart contracts.
Yes, the smart contracts are game-changing.
Let's break down how a smart contract actually works, because it eliminates the most painful part of freelancing, chasing down the invoice.
A smart contract fundamentally changes the rules of engagement. With a blockchain smart contract, the terms of the agreement and the payment mechanism itself are written directly into the code.
So the code is the contract.
Exactly. Let's say a creator agrees to deliver a sponsored video. Once the creator hits the agreed-upon milestone, perhaps they upload the final video file, or the video hits a specific view threshold, the smart contract automatically detects that the condition has been met,
Okay.
and it instantly triggers the payout.
That's amazing. There's no drafting an invoice, no emailing it to some generic accounts payable address, no waiting 30, 60, or 90 days to see if the brand actually cuts the check.
Love that.
The code simply executes the payment the second the work is verified. It operates entirely without human bias or, corporate delays.
And if we zoom out and look at why this structural change matters economically, it represents the death of the traditional biweekly corporate salary.
Wow, that's a big statement.
It really is. We're replacing a rigid, localized, centralized system with a dynamic, borderless system of value exchange. It's an infrastructure designed from the ground up to empower the individual creator over the corporation.
Because they have control over the flow of money now.
Exactly. They work flexibly on their own terms, and through Web3 mechanics, they get paid flexibly and instantly.
It truly is a complete rewiring of how independent work is valued, tracked, and compensated on a global scale.
Without a doubt.
Okay, well, we have covered a massive amount of ground today, moving from the glossy surface level right down into the underlying financial plumbing. Let's pull all of these threads together.
Sure. To summarize our deep dive, the creator economy is far, far more complex than viral videos or trending aesthetics. It is a 200 million strong global workforce.
Yeah.
It's an ecosystem where the most successful individuals are evolving into indie hackers, actively reclaiming their audiences and their revenue streams from the massive platforms.
They're building their own parking lots, basically.
Exactly. And in the process of building these direct-to-fan businesses, they are completely rewiring global commerce. They're shifting how digital marketing is tracked and forcing the evolution of international payroll infrastructure.
And for you listening, this impacts your digital life daily. Whether you're simply buying a product that was recommended by someone you follow online, or maybe you're looking to launch a microsauce as a weekend side hustle. Or perhaps you're running a business and trying to figure out how to market a product to a new generation. You have to recognize that these independent creators are the new gatekeepers of the internet.
They absolutely are.
You simply cannot successfully navigate or monetize the modern digital landscape without engaging with them.
But diving through all of these sources today raises one final, highly provocative question.
Oh, I'm ready.
It's one that builds on the intersection of everything we've discussed today, and it's a thought experiment I want to leave you to mull over.
Okay.
Early in our discussion, we talked about AI influencers like Lil Miquela successfully securing high-end Prada fashion deals.
Right, the virtual personas.
And just now, we unpacked how blockchain smart contracts can completely automate the business side, tracking metrics and executing payouts instantly without human intervention.
Oh, I see where the logic is heading, and it's a little terrifying.
If artificial intelligence can generate the bespoke content, naturally build the niche audience, and secure the lucrative brand deals,
Yeah.
and the blockchain can completely automate all the financial transactions, the tracking, and the payouts, will the creator economy of tomorrow even require human creators at all?
Wow.
Or are we simply building a frictionless system of automated machines generating perfectly tailored digital content strictly for human consumption?
Wow. That is a heavy thought to end on.
Yeah.
The machines find the gold, the machines automatically sell the shovels, and we're just sitting on the couch watching the videos.
Exactly.
I guess we'll have to see if the next generation of kids still wants to be a YouTube star when they realize they're competing against sleepless algorithms. Or, if they'll go back to dreaming about being astronauts. Thanks for joining us on this Duck Dive. We'll catch you next time.